some trends, some use cases, the tech. A lot of you folks on this call are pretty technical, pretty well versed in WordPress. So I'm going to move pretty fast through a lot of this. So I'm Chris Badgett, the Lifter LMS CEO and co-founder. The project just turned 6 years old on October 14th. I'm the face of the company, but there's 10 talented people that make the show happen. And thanks for having me here today. So there's 3 different types of people that we help with our tool. A lot of you folks are what I would call builders. So these are people who build sites for clients or WordPress professionals, that kind of thing. Starters are people who have something to teach and wanted to, do it DIY, do it themselves, and, start building a course or a coaching program or a training-based membership site. Somebody on here mentioned quilting. One of my first WordPress clients was one of the top quilters in Kenya. And she hired me to build a LMS for her to build her quilting education company on the internet. And she was quite famous in the quilting circles or whatever. So that I have clients just go back, and the world of LMS is just wild. I mean, education is everywhere. Switchers, this is my friend Nick, who I met up in Canada. He switched to Lifter from Teachable, I believe. There's a lot of SaaS solutions out there, like Kajabi, Teachable, Thinkific, Udemy. These are places where people get started, but us folks here at a WordPress Meetup know the power and the flexibility of WordPress. So a lot of people kind of outgrow the traditional hosted LMSs or especially in the enterprise or the education, higher ed, people get a little they want more power and flexibility, and it drives them over to WordPress. So there's kind of 3 types of people we work with. A couple trends to go over. Online education is not new, but it's going mainstream big time. One of the big things that I've seen, that we've all probably seen, is this master classes thing that's you can take, and you can learn comedy from Steve Martin. You can learn how to make techno music with some famous DJs. You can learn entrepreneurship from Sarah Blakely, and just everywhere you look, online education is really just going full on. E-learning is a huge industry. It's a very, it's not a fragmented market. It's just there's all these different verticals, from like the hobbyist who's really into something on up to corporate training at the highest level. And then you've got universities, K through 12, the whole coaching industry, the continuing education, adult learning. It's huge. It's a giant multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's exploding fast. The global pandemic has just accelerated a lot of this. In e-learning, what we're experiencing is, I don't know, like statistically for sure, but it's almost like, 5 years of education, online education, e-learning advancement has happened in the past, 10 months or whatever. So we're just having massive acceleration in e-learning. We've got 5G on the rise and just other kinds of internet connectivity. There's still a lot of the world that's not even online or experiencing the web on really low bandwidth solutions, but that's all advancing at the same time, which just increases the demand for learning opportunities. The other thing is tool accessibility. Everybody on this call is a Zoom pro. If you weren't 10 months ago, you now are. I saw everybody muting and unmuting properly and all managing the camera. It's, you can become a YouTuber. Like every kid wants to be a YouTuber when they grow up or whatever. All the cameras and just everything has just advanced, so that for creators, the tools for editing video, WordPress, all of it has just never been more accessible and doable and affordable. I mean, it does add up, but I mean, think about what it would cost to build a university. You could get a managed WordPress hosting account and build an online university for a lot cheaper. I'm going to go over several use cases. We've got this simple online course. This is one of our clients, Esther, she's a military spouse. She teaches the virtual assistant career skills. to military spouses who have their unique challenges with moving all the time. And I watched her go from zero to $50,000 a month, and just build out her program in this like niche of career training. But that's like a simple online course. It's like one program, one course. Then you've got a training-based membership site. This is where it gets more advanced, like with the online coaching industry, which is really exploding. This is Melissa Love's site, who was the first person to create a Divi child theme. She did a lot of great work in WordPress in the photography niche in Europe. And she's just an all-around awesome woman. And she built something called the Marketing Fix to help fellow designers level up. And so she's got courses, she has guest experts, she has these libraries of like templates. She does all these like co-working sessions. She's negotiated with all these deals with companies that have that designers need tools and whatnot so they can get discounts. So this is more like a full-on membership site. We've got the course marketplace, one of the largest, I think it might be the largest WordPress education site on the internet, is powered by Lifter. WP 101 by Sean Hesketh. There's multiple instructors on here. You mentioned Joe Casabona earlier. He teaches, I think, Beaver Builder, a Gutenberg course, and some other stuff on here. The other thing is education-based marketing and onboarding, a less kind of obvious form of education. So this is a software company, Groundhog. It's kind of like Infusionsoft and WordPress. They use Lifter to train their partner expert program and to help with their customer onboarding, which reduces churn and activation into their product. And we use this strategy. We have a quick start course for Lifter LMS. That's the largest driver of our email list growth. It also educates people on the product before they buy. After they buy, it helps them onboard in the tool. Michelle, you mentioned on this call, the other Michelle, about working with Zach and Gravity and all that education stuff. That's an example of education-based marketing and onboarding around software. Then we've got internal training inside companies who like do things like safety training. Some brands I'm aware of that are using Lifter include Delta Airlines, Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza, and there's some more. Wonderful Pistachio. They use Lifter to train their plant workers at the nut facility. Anyways, it's crazy. This industry is huge. And then, of course, with what we have going on right now, we've got even more remote schools moving online. This is a Western Nevada college. They use Lifter LMS to power their whole online university part. They're in the process actually of switching from a hosted solution to get the benefits of WordPress. But there's a problem in the LMS industry. I'll just go over quickly. One, we know this well in WordPress. It's easy to end up with a software Frankenstein where you get too many tools that aren't designed to work well together. It doesn't mean you shouldn't take a best in breed tool selection approach, but it's definitely a slippery slope. If you are selling your courses, a lot of times people under monetize. If you think about the YouTubers, many of us probably have our favorite YouTube shows around certain topics that, a lot of those YouTubers will like, say, hey, go to my Patreon and pledge this amount of money or whatever to support the show. But there's just and even if they do get into building their own courses and whatnot, a lot of people under monetize. Content theft is a big issue. Low engagement, building stuff that people don't enjoy, don't complete is a big issue. And then the lack of flexibility and getting trapped happens big time outside of the WordPress ecosystem, because in WordPress, we have so much extendability and optionality. It's a totally different game. So the promise I want to show you with Lifter and just WordPress and the LMS industry is how to enable creative freedom so that the tool becomes an enabler of creativity and not a roadblock that's getting in your way. how to sell and maximize revenue, protect your content, making engaging experiences for your learners, and then connect to anything. So the three big ideas just to keep in mind as I go through this are to look for as much as you can, an all-in-one solution, to focus on creating learning environments that are around results, not just putting a paywall in front of information. And then the power and the possibility of connecting with anything. So the top benefits of working with Lifter is it allows you to create, to sell, to engage, to protect, and to connect to the tools you're already using as well. So when it comes to creation, and we'll get into a live demo, but I'm just going to go over some of the high notes right here. This is our one screen course builder. It's kind of like the table of contents for a book where you can lay out your course structure and move things around and adjust settings and add videos and stuff all from just one interface to like keep it organized. I mean, WordPress has the posts and there are a lot of posts happening around all this, but this is like the unification window to look at everything and build and from one place. You can create anything from the simple course to the course marketplace to the online school. You can create your unique brand and design, as you all know here in the WordPress space. Compliance and flexibility is really important to us. So we were kind of leaders in the early days of GDPR and WordPress. And there's a lot of like compliance stuff that has to happen around education for various things. So we've got a bunch of tools built for around that. We've got enrollment your way. So this is just a view of how we created an interface for designing pretty much all the, any kind of payment or business model you can think of or access, one-time payments, recurring, course start dates, course finish dates, drip content. It's all there. For selling, you can package and monetize however you want. Like Sean here, he does a la carte courses, and then he has a global membership that's kind of the everything bundle. So one of the things about Lifter is you don't need a separate membership plugin. Lifter has all that kind of built in. So it's it kind of combines LMS, membership, engagement, and e-commerce all into one. It can help you generate leads and sales. I was mentioning the Quick Start course for Lifter, which as of right now, there's about 20,000 people who have enrolled in that. And we also do a lot, sometimes for many, we're their first touch to WordPress. So we actually license this course from Sean that we make free about beginning WordPress skills. So, which just is a value add and helps people experience the software and learn WordPress. We help you maximize profit with other tools like if you want to upsell private or group coaching or have private content. And we've got a social learning add-on if you want to build your own like Facebook-like experience in your site. But these are just examples of ways to maximize profit. Or if you want to get into the recurring revenue sounds nice, but in order to do it, we got to have recurring value. So Lifter has a bunch of tools in it that allow you to create experiences that add recurring value. And it might mean bringing in another tool like Zoom here to run like a monthly office hours or something like that. There's a lot of stuff in the software too that creates opportunities for recurring value. You can do pre-selling with Lifter. So if you want to create a course for the future, you can, design it in that course builder layout we were talking about, maybe create a couple lessons and sell it with a future start date of January 1st. And you can launch that today. So pre-selling is really powerful. Also, I see a lot of course creators get stuck because they get super passionate, but even we become like our clients here sometimes and have our own content issues. But when you have that forcing function of a future launch date and start date where the people are showing up, that can help just kind of create a forcing function. In terms of engagement, I'm a big believer and fan of what I call the results revolution. The best courses really have some kind of, they're not just informational, there's some kind of result, like we're going to make this particular table or this kind of quilt, or you're going to be able to use this particular tool to build this type of thing. Also having a community. This is just the member directory in our social learning add-on can help accelerate results when people feel like they're not just experiencing a website by themselves and they're in it with other people. You can understand your learners. So we have detailed, part of what makes an LMS different from a straight up membership site is the analytics and reporting. So we have very detailed reporting and analytics. You can even download it, export it to an Excel file if you want. But it goes deep into lots of things, even down to what the amount of somebody watched on a certain video or what they answered on a particular quiz question or when they last logged in. There's just tons of data in the reporting, both in aggregate and for the individuals. You've got progress control through start dates, end dates, drip content, that kind of thing. And we've got gamification. So we have these achievement badges that people can earn if you want to gamify it. There's a great WordPress community member, Tara Clays from Design TLC. She recently did a lifter site for a cooking school for kids that was did a lot of summer camps and things as well, but had to pivot fully online because of the pandemic. And in her site, they had all these like cupcake pop-ups and all this these like dessert badges and stuff. It was just really cool. It's called Tiny Chefs. If you want to check it out, it was really well done. Protection is key. So the content is secured. Every member has their own dashboard. So, the content's behind a login. And if there's recurring payments involved, and somebody doesn't pay or a course finishes, they lose access to it. So all that's built into the system. There's the individual user accounts. We've got a bunch of privacy controls and GDPR stuff you can do for all those GDPR rights. And then the big thing we invest a lot in is we are an all-in-one solution. So we kind of say two things that are a little bit opposed to each other, and that yes, Lifter's all-in-one. You got LMS, you've got the e-commerce, you got the membership functionality, you've got the engagement, but this is still WordPress. So we want to exist in an ecosystem where things play well together. So we integrate with some of the top form plugins. Forms are pretty popular inside courses and memberships for various reasons. And we have direct integrations that allow you to do some fancy things with the forms. We've got we're listed on the Zapier app directory. So if you want to get into, like, people are doing things like, they're selling with something else like ThriveCart or some other solution, and they want the LMS and the WordPress site just to be this separate thing. They use Zapier to directly connect that. I have a very talented co-founder. His name's Thomas Levy, who's the lead developer behind Lifter. And we've spent a tremendous amount of time building out our REST API, and that continues to evolve. One of our developers in Italy, his name's Rocco. He's a great guy. He's put a ton of work into this, and it continues to expand. But this allows mobile app developers and other WordPress product companies and stuff and developers to just more easily hook in and do what they want to do to extend Lifter. So I have a model that I'm going to get into, and then we're going to look at a live site and stop talking theoretical. So let me.
Chris, do you want people to ask questions, interrupt you, or wait till the end if they do have questions?
This is a good spot to take some. So let's take some, and then.
I don't know if anybody does, but I just want to make sure we're following a protocol that works for you.
Yeah.
Marianne?
Is the LMS, so when you purchase one of the products, is it a downloadable plugin that then you upload to your own site, or is it something that you host? Is it like a self-hosted ecosystem like WordPress.com?
Gotcha. It's if you're familiar with WooCommerce, it's very similar. So there's a core plugin, the Lifter LMS core plugin, super powerful. That's our big contribution to the WordPress community. So that's actually free.
Okay.
And then we have about 22 different add-ons that add various features like the credit card payments and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it is something that you use on your WordPress site. It's not hosted somewhere else. So you buy your domain name, you buy your web hosting, and then you have WordPress and whatever theme you like, and then you install Lifter and our plugins as well.
Okay. What if you're already running WooCommerce? Is it something that you could add onto your site easily if you already have a WooCommerce on there?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the reasons why we're big on connecting to the tools you're already using. One of our add-ons is a WooCommerce add-on, which is which syncs deep into WooCommerce.
Okay.
So there's everything that you can do in the native Lifter LMS e-commerce, you can also do by integrating it with WooCommerce. So if you're already using Woo or you need to use Woo for some reason, we have an add-on for that.
Gotcha. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions while we're here?
What if, this is Mary, what if you have to, you want to change, you want to move later on? What happened? Can you move your courses? Is it easy to move from one platform to another if you have to?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, Lifter has like one-click import, export, and cloning and stuff like that, but that's for between Lifter sites. So if you can move easily like from one Lifter place to another, but when it comes from moving within WordPress, like if you've been using a membership plugin like MemberPress, Paid Memberships Pro, Restrict Content Pro, something like that, or you're using LearnDash or Sensei or another WordPress solution, there's not really a easy way to move. Like let me show you, like as an example, I have, for our demo here today, I have this course built right here of how to use Zoom. And the way I can build this course right here, which is like a 12 lesson course or something, 16 something. I could rebuild this on a brand new site in less than an hour from the course builder. So, but there's no real super easy migration option. What people typically do if they're moving like from Udemy or Canvas LMS or Moodle or something is they will have they'll build a new site and they'll maintain the legacy site and they'll sunset it slowly and get new people to start coming on to the new site. And then it's like a process. Flipping the switch is not easy to do. That's just the reality of it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions while we're here?
Yeah, I've got a question. What was a surprise to me when I got first into the WordPress, and in particular putting up my store, is the amount of effort it goes into taking pictures and editing them and, resizing them and doing all that. So, that is always the biggest time drain. In an LMS, are you editing a lot of videos? Is it writing? What's the time drain in building a course?
If you're, you know, pretty handy with WordPress and everything, it's going to be not the website. It's going to be creating the actual course.
Mhm.
So we have, like first there's like the strategy of what you're going to build. And then once you know what you're going to build and you kind of map it out to an outline, and then you kind of produce the content, the videos and whatnot. I mean, I'll just rattle off some tips I have, which are spend time strategizing, making sure who it's for, what the jobs to be done are, what's the end result the course is going to make, what are the milestones we need to achieve on the way to getting to that result, how do we get a student an early win so they stay motivated throughout, and how do we break it out into like a journey. And then from there we can build an outline, and from there we can schedule some time on our calendar to like shoot the videos and all that kind of thing. When it comes to images, I mean, I've been in WordPress for like, I heard somebody else say 12 years. I think that's how long I've been in it too. So I've learned this lesson. This is a big one for me, which is the best size for images. And I'm a marketer guy and I create lots of courses and content and all this stuff, is 1920 by 1080, which is the high definition HD video. It's perfect for YouTube thumbnails. It's perfect for featured images for blog posts. It's perfect for featured images for courses. So if I make an image these days, it's either a square or it's 1920 by 1080 PNG, which I then process through that website, tiny PNG. So the weight of the file gets small. And those are some hard-won truths right there. So, but yeah, like it's all about organization. So, a lot of people, we'll get into it when we get into the build, but when you can also use, one of the best compliments I ever got when I was like, hey, I have a Facebook group for course creators. There's like 8,000 people in there. And I was asking them, what do you guys like to use for project management for your courses? I was, what is it? Is it Trello? Is it Asana? What is it? And they're like, and some of them, yeah, a lot of them use those tools. I'm a Trello guy and I've used them all, but a lot of them just use the course builder and Lifter itself to start fleshing out the ideas, which is cool. That's a great compliment. But yeah, a lot of people will say it's easy, and I'm sure you can find me in the marketing somewhere saying like, hey, yeah, you just create a course, but it does take more time than you think it's going to. And for me, like doing the batches are really important, like, especially when it comes to creating the content. I clear my calendar and I go into course creation block time, and that's the only way to get it done. The other option is to do it live. Like is to do calls like this with a live audience, hit the record button, and that's actually creating your lesson videos. So depending upon what you're teaching, that's called the Skittle method, which stands for screw it, do it live. That's a hack to get it done, or at least get the first version done. So those are some tips.
Now, you listed off a number of things that you would do if you were creating a new course, but the biggest obstacle that I've seen for many, many, many years is I don't know what I don't know. So for someone to start out and create a new, a new instance of LMS, do you have videos? Do you have beginner type intros and whatnot?
Yeah, I got a couple things. Let me show you this. So on our site, lifterlms.com, we have our own academy. And this particular course, the official Quick Start course for Lifter LMS, it shows you the 5% of the tool to get started. This course is also available for install inside of the like when you first install Lifter, so you can actually get this course on your website. So it's right there for you to look at while you build stuff. So there's that. And in case you haven't realized, I'm a complete and total nerd about courses in this whole LMS industry. So I have a podcast that goes over a lot of things like the instructional design stuff we're talking about here. We're almost at 300 episodes here.
All right.
And
Excuse me, is this an after purchase, after license product? In other words, can we go out there and get our feet wet before we obtain a license?
you can. So there's a couple
Okay.
ways to do that. These are just some more informational resources, but if you go to, just go into the WordPress repository. This is the core Lifter LMS plugin. It's completely free. This is a great way to take things for a test drive.
Okay, great.
The other option is on the website. We actually just made it. It used to be $1 just to prevent spam signups, but we're trying to do it for free. This here is going to give you a temporary website to play with, which is actually, it looks exactly like this. This is what we're going to get into in the demo in just a second.
Fabulous.
So if you want to try out this site, which has some pre-built courses in it, like this one we were just looking at, or not that one, this one. This is a great way to like try before you buy and get your feet wet, see what the student experience is like. And if you go into the back of this website here, you can see that these are all the Lifter LMS add-ons in here, and there's the core plugin. And you can see here, somebody was asking about WooCommerce. Is our WooCommerce add-on that you can turn on and install WooCommerce as well if you want to test that out.
Terrific. Thank you.
The hardest part is actually developing your own curriculum, not actually building the course, correct?
I would agree with that statement. Yeah, that's a good point.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Hi, I'm Shanta. I joined a bit late. My apologies.
all good.
Do you have any post-secondary education institutions that are using this as their LMS?
Like universities?
Yeah, or do you find that they are mostly tied to whatever their school is using?
No, we have some universities. Like there was one, Western Nevada College, Northern Arizona State University uses Lifter. There's a department that's got going with that. Boston University uses it. What I find is that Lifter's kind of like Slack, the instant messaging tool. It's kind of like a bottom-up adoption. So inside, there are a lot of professors who use Lifter, but like for the university itself to be like, okay, or the school to be like, we're going to switch from Google Classroom or whatever. The innovation inside WordPress that I see, at least using WordPress as a education tool, as a LMS, it starts with an individual professor or with an academic department. So
No, I guess the reason I'm asking is because in a lot of cases they have to input all their grades and things like that into their own LMS system, and I'm one of those people who tends to be the one who leads the pack with things like this when I was there. But what I'm getting at is, for example, I then have to now take my grades and then export them into Desire to Learn, actually is usually the ones that we use up here in Canada. So whichever LMS it is there more of an export for the LMSs that the institutions have to use, at least from a grades perspective? Do they talk to each other, or
they do?
I need to leave for another day. I'm okay with doing that also.
No, I gotcha. So
Okay.
Let me show you the manual way and then I'll show you the automated way. So inside, this is our Academy site. I'm going to pull up some reporting here. All this data, and there's a bunch of grade data in here. You can just drop down to a spreadsheet with one click with this export button here. Or you can navigate to a specific course or specific students and pull that data down. So it's all in here, but if you got to re-put it in somewhere else, what happens when you get a little more complex with it is there's I'm just going to go into our add-ons. There's this other tool. So we're big, like a big thing with Lifter is we do a lot of work to support other companies that build integrations into Lifter. So like there's this one grass blade, which somewhere down here. So that it's a little bit, I don't know, have you heard of XAPI or the Tin Can API or anything like that?
Not specifically, no.
Basically what this does is it builds a pipe to another LRS or learning record store like you're talking about, and it can basically automate all that. So it exists. You're going to get into a more complex build of your site, but it's possible.
Oh, and I realized that there are so many out there. I didn't expect to see every one of them. I was just curious which ones you did have.
Yeah.
Like whether it was Blackboard or D2L or anything like that. So, okay.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks very much.
Yeah. Thanks for the question. Anybody else before we go?
So I just have a comment on that.
Yeah.
So as a professor, the way I've been doing this is I put my general information on a separate website and just have students do practice and things like that. But I put my actual quizzes that are going to count on Blackboard, which is our LMS for the college.
I love that. That's such a cool hybrid approach.
Yeah, that way you just avoid all the problems with, you know, keeping track of student records and so on. And it might actually, you know, bring other people in to see stuff that you've got. So it kind of widens your audience a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm also seeing a lot more curriculum designers like who are using Lifter to build stuff that then the professor is using in the classroom, but it's more like kind of like a virtual textbook, but more interactive and more going on. You know, the professor's still using, like you said, the standard system, but some of the supporting materials are coming in from these outside training components. So that's cool. Yeah, it's learning is not easy. Like and if you want the most options, and then you have like legacy stuff you have to do, especially in institutions, it gets challenging to do it all, but it's awesome because there's so much opportunity as well. Cool. Well, I'm just going to draw a quick diagram and then we'll get into the actual, we can get on the WordPress site. So can you all see the iPad?
It looks like it's gonna come up, but it hasn't come up yet. There it is. Now I see it.
You see it? All right.
Venn
So
diagram.
I'm going to draw something. This just helps me think about what we're doing here because I love the question of like, how hard is it? Because there's a lot going on here. So I just want to show you like how we think about designing the product and serving people like you all, which I call education entrepreneurs, whether you're the teacher, the WordPress LMS professional, or whoever it is. So I call this the WordPress LMS growth engine. And if we get into this, there's really 3 areas that Lifter does. It helps you to create, launch, and scale high value training programs online. But there's more to it, which I'm going to go over here. And then if we can create and launch, what that does is that generates impact. When we launch and we scale, that not in every context, but in a lot of contexts, creates a lot of revenue or financials. And then when we can create and scale, there's a type of creativity that gets unlocked. And these are all types of freedom. So it's basically the freedom to create a positive impact in the world, to create financial leverage or financial cash flow. And then the less obvious one that's more subtle is just that creative freedom as a teacher or a subject matter expert or whatever it is. So a couple things here to help with the creation. So Lifter helps you to design the program, which we'll get into here in just a second. Produce content, and to also grow your team. Because there's a problem in this whole industry, I call it the 5 hats problem, where you have to be an expert, you have to be a technologist, you have to be an instructional designer, you have to be a community builder, and you have to be an entrepreneur. And the people that really excel, I've noticed they're not doing it alone. It's one of the ways we help you grow a team. If anybody on here builds sites for clients, we have the Lifter LMS Experts program. So if you want, and that's a question we get all the time, is what, do you guys know anybody who can, this looks cool. Do you know anybody that can put together the site for me? We just refer people to people that have experience with Lifter. So if anybody is here and is looking for more clients and knows the tool or spends a little time learning the tool, that's an option. But in terms of launching, we help you implement the technology. And we do that with our Quick Start course and a lot of other, we have these like liftoff sessions. We do live calls with video sharing. We're known for having incredible support. We help you fill the marketing funnel with tools for free courses and stuff, which I'm going to show you in a second. And then we help with conversion and sales and that kind of thing with our very flexible conversion optimized checkout. And then in terms of scaling, this is where it gets pretty cool. We have a lot of automation features. So we came out of the, as an agency, we bootstrapped this product out of an agency. And we did a lot of work in the Infusionsoft community, which is a marketing automation community. And basically, we took everything we learned there about behavior-based triggers and then the ability to do things with that, like send emails and award achievement badges and stuff. And we built a whole engine inside Lifter where you can have these behavioral triggers that you can create email campaigns and stuff that the website fire off, you know, that basically like encourage the learner after a big accomplishment or, you know, connect to the teacher if somebody's like falling behind and stuff like that. This kind of automation is built into the tool. And when it goes well, we're definitely, our big goal is delighting the learner. So we love our customers, but who we actually care about most is our customer's customer. So if the learner can use the site, if the learner can, you know, get the learning objective or the result of the training, and that makes us the most happy. And scaling was actually grow team. This was supposed to be grow tribe. So yeah, we have people get stuck, whether it's on the instructional design or it's on like the entrepreneur stuff, like the marketing stuff or building the business, you know, getting the right banking setup or whatever. I mean, we're not in the banking business, but we have resources to help people figure all that stuff out. So that is what I call the WordPress LMS growth engine. And just a pro tip, if anybody here on this call is like building sites for clients, the huge opportunity here, I have a whole other one of these models that I do for WordPress people who are building sites for clients. But a lot of us implement the technology. But if you are servicing this market, I have a big webinar I'm getting ready to do for GoWP that I just put together, and I'm really excited about it. But if we get into some of these other things, like if you help your clients actually design the program, or, you know, get the content done, these kind of, even just adding a couple of these other things can really add a tremendous amount of value and income as a WordPress professional or site builder, consultant, this kind of thing. Just throwing that out there. But that's the model I wanted to show you real quick. And then I just wanted to pull my slides up for just a second. And then we're going to get into a live actual working site and just kind of look at the details a little bit. So let me just pull this up. I did hook you guys up. If anybody is interested, here, if you use the coupon code Rochester, sorry if I'm not saying that right. I'm originally from the South.
Got it. It's okay.
All right. That's 25% off. We're doing like a Black Friday all month thing that's 20% off, but I wanted to hook y'all up just for coming live here. So that's that. And then I wanted to thank you. I'm not at the end, but I'm going to show you my last slides just while I'm here. Our mission at Lifter is to lift up others through education. It's what we're all about. And just, I want to thank you for letting me really get into this stuff. I'm super into it. And I have, and the WordPress community, especially in meetups and stuff like that, this is a special group. And, you know, a lot of us here, we're kind of already online a bunch, and we're uniquely qualified, and the world needs us right now. So anyways, so I can stop and take some questions, but let me just tell you what I was going to get to next so that you know where I'm going. I was just going to show you how to build a course and kind of play around on the back end a little bit. And if anybody, after I do a quick course building demo, wants me to show something specific, I'm happy to get into it. But before I get into building a course, does anybody have any questions right now?
Doesn't look like it. Show us the magic.
All right.
I have a question.
All right. How's it going, Gene?
Hey, hi, Chris.
Good to see you.
Is it possible? I'm just curious. Is it possible for somebody to have more than one course on their website?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could have. Yeah, you can have hundreds if you wanted. I've seen thousands, but I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, it's heavy. Yeah, that's the thing, is the way I think about it is, you like my little model there, create, launch, and scale. The scaling part, we're all about the education entrepreneur and who may be starting with just one course. And over time, maybe they build an entire online university with multiple instructors, or maybe they add all this like coaching stuff and live events and all this. Like it can scale out, but you can start with a simple course and grow from there. And I know plenty of people who, education entrepreneurs, are super creative, super passionate, and they have all these visions for like all these courses. But I know plenty of people who have one course, and then every year they just make it better and better and better. And like 10 years later, here they are with the same one course. It's called a signature program. I mean, it has a lot of names, but so you can do it. There's lots of ways to do it. So
I think even one sounds overwhelming, but you know what, something you said actually brought up another question, and that is what is the effect on resources, and what sort of hosts should somebody look at, you know, if they're going to be hosting a course or multiple courses?
So I mean, it'll really work on any host. We get asked this question a lot. So we actually have a recommended resources page on our site, and there are like 5 or 6 web hosts we recommend on there. In general, we recommend the managed WordPress host, like, you know, something like WP Engine, Kinsta is really popular, Sentry's up and coming, Liquid Web, you know, these kind of like, they're not the beginner cheapest stuff. However, we have a lot of people who are just rocking the Bluehost and the GoDaddy and the SiteGround and whatever, and they're cool until they're not, like until like they have like, you know, 100 people trying to take a test at the same time or something like that, and then it's time to upgrade.
Yeah,
But if people can start,
server, it's probably not where you want to be.
what's that?
You probably don't want to be on a pardon me, on a shared server.
Yeah. It's not, if you can afford to start without and start like kind of at that mid tier, I recommend it, but it's not a deal breaker. Also, I'm a fan of people just, especially if they're charging, to like get some money coming in, and then maybe you can upgrade the server. I mean, I have my first LMS site, which still runs and sells courses, is still sitting on an old Bluehost shared hosting, and it's fine, but it's not scaling super big, so it's okay. But cool. Any other questions before I get into the site? All right. How am I doing on time, Michelle?
You're doing great.
Okay. So I'm going to pull up the site here. So again, this site, if you go to lifterlms.com and you buy this $1 trial, which is now free, it's a temporary website with our Infinity bundle, which is all our add-ons. Everything's installed with demo content, and the site looks exactly like this. And this is this particular theme is becoming one of the most popular themes in Lifter LMS. It's called Cadence. It's a new theme, but they put a lot of attention on Lifter LMS, and they have a free theme which has a bunch of Lifter features in it, which is great. So for people that are just getting started, it's pretty cool. And then their pro version has even more stuff in it or whatever. But anyways, without going off into the theme land, and by the way, Lifter will work with any theme. It's just when certain themes put some attention on Lifter, it makes it easier for people to do what they're trying to do. So this is just kind of that other pro tip we were looking at earlier. A course for me is as simple as an outline. So we got a title, some sections, some lessons, and then some videos, right? If you can get to here, building the site is easy. And then I have a featured image here. And then this is just that 1920 by 1080 pixel size or whatever. So let's build this course. So you go to courses, add new. And I'm just going to publish it. And what you'll notice is up in here, if you have Lifter LMS installed, see these Lifter LMS blocks. So Lifter's got fully Gutenberg. We have all these blocks, like this is the instructor block, and this is the progress block, course description block, and all these different things. So there's a syllabus block. We don't have any stuff in here yet, but I try not to get into the design until the last step. That's just my workflow. So what you just press this launch course builder button, and then this opens up the outline deal. So I'm just creating sections. I'm adding lessons. You know, I can drag stuff over. You know, I can move things around and whatnot. And I'm not going to build this whole, I can add existing lessons I already have. Oops, I don't have any yet though. And I'm not going to make you watch me just build all of it, but just so you get the idea. So I'm just renaming this introduction. And then I'm just getting my, my little cheat sheet here. So what is Zoom? I'll just do, oops. I'll do a couple of lessons and then call it good. so you get the idea.
Chris, that outline, is that you just did that in Microsoft Word or something like that?
I mean, I'm kind of a nerd, so I just do this in a text document with no formatting so I don't get distracted. It's just the outline. That's all it is. But you could do it in anything. You could do it in a Google Doc or and really anything. And I got something, I have a template to show you in a moment, which I think is going to really help as well. Let me, hold on. Let me just refresh this page. And then, so over here, you can go to the individual WordPress posts and everything and add your videos, or you can put them like right in here. And I'm just going to add, where'd my little thing go? Here it is. I'm just going to add content to one more lesson and then we'll call it good. All right. So now,
so you're showing a Vimeo video link.
Yep.
I'm assuming that's I'm not familiar with Vimeo that well, but I guess it would be a private video, that it's not searchable to the general public.
Yeah, so in Vimeo, the most popular tool that people use with Lifter is Vimeo Pro, and then there's Wistia. And you can do unlisted YouTube videos if you want, but Vimeo Pro has, which costs about $200 a year, I believe. It has a domain whitelisting feature, so you can put in this privacy settings to that this video will only be playable on rochesterdemo.com or whatever. So I recommend, you can get into some you're hosting your own videos, but I definitely don't recommend it. Yeah, but Vimeo Pro is the most popular there.
And what was the other one?
Wistia is very popular as well. It's a little more expensive and has some more analytics and stuff in it. So let's see. Here's my course. I'm just going to add that featured image, and then we'll look at some stuff. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Featured image. All right. So you can see, like, in just a couple of minutes, I've got a course coming together. We've got some lessons here. Well, that video must have gotten deleted, but you can see we've got a lesson here. I just marked that as complete, so it's putting me to the next lesson. You can see how I'm advancing and all that's coming together. And there's really a lot you can do. So I'm going to kind of open it up to y'all in a second to see like where you want me to go. But I just want to show you a few more things before we get into it. If I wanted to add like a quiz, we've got a quiz builder so that you can create all kinds of quiz questions and stuff that requires grading if you want. People can upload things. We've got assignments that people can do. There's really a lot you can get into. And in terms of the selling, let me just show you how easy that is. So down here in the access plans, I'm just going to click add new. So this is using the Lifter e-commerce, not WooCommerce. I'm just going to create two. One's the one-time payment. We'll make that $1,000. And we'll just do a one-time payment with lifetime access. And then I'm going to add a second one, which is the payment plan. And that's going to be $90 every month for let's just say 1 year. So
Sorry, I
now
just have
you
a question about that one. So
Yeah.
you just said that it lasted for 12 months at that price. The plan length you said is 12 months.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So what I was saying here, let me slow down. So I created my 2 payment plans. I said, I just did simple lifetime access right here,
Right.
but I could have it expire on a certain date or after a certain amount of time, but
Mhm.
I'm just doing lifetime. So I said, if you pay $1,000, you can access this course, or you can pay $99 a month for 12 months as a payment plan. So over the course of a year, you're going to end up paying $1,200.
So
So
they're
there's a
just the
little,
same course, just 2 different payment plans.
exactly.
Gotcha.
So if
Sorry. Just
we
making
look at it here, you can see how somebody is looking at this course. Oh, this looks interesting. I want to learn how to use Zoom. I could either pay now or I could get the payment plan, but they'll get access right away. But if they get to month 2, they're going to lose access if they don't make their next payment or cancel their payment. It'll happen automatically. But that's how that works. And just to show you one more, just to get the gears turning, if you get into something like private coaching, and I'm just making these numbers up. So let's just say that was course plus private coaching, and that was, $5,000 one-time payment. And if we look at that, so there's 3 options. You could buy the course for $1,000, you could get the payment plan, or you could get the upsell, which is course plus coaching for $5,000. And that's just one business model. There's lots of different ways to do it, but it's starting to come together. And each student, as they buy, the course will show up on their dashboard. We can start building out like certificates. We could do achievement badges. We could do memberships, which might have like groups of courses, like somebody mentioned wood turning. So we could have like the pens, the table legs or the handles for the different things. These could all be different courses that are part of some membership. So that's an option as well. But I will turn it over to y'all because that's just like a high level demo of the basics. What questions do you have, or what can I show you?
So if I wanted to set up a course, I've been talking about doing so now you've inherited a WordPress website, so you hired somebody to build it. Now you've got to figure out like, how do I do little things on it? So I'm thinking about building a course like that. And I do a free course. I'm not looking to make any money. I'm just trying to find a way to, not that I don't already give back to the community, but another way to give back to the community.
Yeah.
Is there a way to put a tip jar with your courses instead of having a payment plan or payment?
I've been talking to Devin at GiveWP about doing a Give integration. So maybe you should follow up with him on that. However, yeah, I'll show you how to do that today, which is the way I would do that is I would take my course here and what I would do is, let me actually look at a different course here.
Not like you don't have any connections, Michelle.
I mean, I know how to put a tip jar on a website with Give for sure.
I know.
Not one on my podcast, but yeah,
I'm just saying, like, it's like people or something.
I might know.
You might.
So this one is a free course. So if we look at it in the back, this is our quick start course, and you can even have some lessons be this kind of free, means like somebody can go check it out without having to log in. So it allows them to like test it out before they make the commitment of giving you their email address or buying from you.
Gotcha.
But to answer your question, what I would do is I would go back here, and you can see down here in the access plan, it's just, there's a no payment required checkbox, and does that. And then what I would do is I would probably put it either in the first lesson or at the last lesson to ask for a tip or whatever. I would just use my Give WP or my form plugin that has like some donation thing in it to get it inside after they've enrolled, to be like, hey, did you like this? Fill out this form to leave a review or whatever, a testimonial. And then the next one's like, leave a donation. And you could put that in the beginning or throughout the course. So that's what I would do. But we currently, we don't have a name your price. However, we thought about that. So.
I mean, I love giving back, but when people want to give back to the person who's giving back, I say yes, that's fine. Other questions?
Chris, and the mark complete option there, is that a builder tool? So that like you mark that complete, meaning that you have put everything into that lesson that you need to put in? Or is that for the student to mark that they've completed the lesson?
That's for the student. So
Okay.
there's a, so as a student goes through the lessons, they click the complete button, or if you're using our video advanced videos add-on, it actually,
One moment.
hold on, Siri's talking to me about something. It actually marks it complete automatically. Kind of, we actually modeled it after the way Netflix keeps you watching videos. So it will automatically record that you've watched the whole video and then go to the next lesson automatically. So
Does it interrupt you in the middle to say, are you still learning?
we even have the countdown. You can change that message. You could say that. And you could you could put that in there. We also have like quizzes and assignments. So if you want to stop them and be like, hey, you got to do this work, you got to do this checklist, or you got to submit this assignment, you got to upload something, or you got to take this quiz, or do this fill in the blank test, or reorder these pictures or whatever, that can also, that it's part of the, we call that progression. So there's different things that allow people to progress forward, either the button, the video finish, or they have to take a quiz assignment. Maybe the teacher has to grade that, they might have to wait for that. So, yeah.
So you do have the ability to do that sort of drip option, right? Where it's like, you can't go beyond this point in the course until you've completed this thing.
Yep.
Okay.
And you can have entire courses be prerequisite of having successfully completed other courses. There's also
you're thinking ahead of me. I like it. Well done.
well, I talk to teachers all the time. There's also you know, like minimum required passing percentages on quizzes and things. So that's there as well. So
Okay. And I had another one. I can't quite remember it all of a sudden. Okay, I'll come back to you.
okay.
I have
Go
a
ahead,
question.
Christine.
So with the formative assessments that you just talked about in the progression, you know, piece, how do you get, you know, those responses back to the student in a timely manner? You know, like what if they're up at 4 o'clock in the morning doing these quizzes and you are not? Like,
Well,
what does that look like?
Well, there's two options. We have automatically graded, which is like multiple choice, or fill in the blank, where it's like reading what they type in there.
Mm.
But if it's like a short answer, they're just gonna have to wait. I mean, just gotta,
Okay. So it would be ideal to do the multiple choice, like the selective questions instead of the short answers.
if you want an automated self-serve,
Yeah.
go at your no restrictions. Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, Marianne had to drop off the call because she had to put her kids to bed, but she asked me to, she pinged me on Slack to say, ask him when does the discount that he put up there end, so I make sure I get in there before he closes it down.
I think I set it up for a week.
Okay.
If anybody needs an extension, just let me know. I'll make it happen.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody
Chris.
else? Hey.
Sure.
Yeah, I got a question for you.
All right, go ahead, Lee.
So I got a situation at work where we have an outside LMS system, you know, SAS service.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about bringing it in-house just to save some money and have more flexibility. But I don't really want the people running the courses to be messing with the rest of the website.
Yeah.
If it goes on WordPress, what kind of strategies do you have for that? Is it possible to say, okay, you can play with the courses, but you can't mess with the rest of the content?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's just default Lifter. So we have roles.
Mm-hmm.
We have the instructor role. We have the instructor's assistant. We have the student. We have something called the LMS manager. But basically your instructor would just be able to create course, edit course, grade and stuff like that. But they're not going to be able to get to your plugins or your themes or your Lifter settings or anything like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want them, like if I was going to build, I might have other, I don't know, applications in that WordPress instance that I would want to.
They won't be able to touch it by default because of Lifter, because the instructor can only create, edit, and manage their own courses. That's it.
Oh, okay. So I
and
don't have to worry about them.
If you want to be really tight about it and just not let them in there at all, then I would just collect the content from them and build it out for them.
Sure. I don't really want to mess with the administration of the course, like signing people up and stuff. I don't mind helping them build the course type material, but once it's set up, I don't want to administer it. I want them to, sign people up, keep track of the grades, things like that.
Yeah, they would just become a user on your site. You would promote them to instructor, and that's it. And they're not going to be able to see other instructors' reports or anything. It's just their people. But they will have access to the analytics of their students and everything.
Yeah, I just didn't want them to have access to, like, if I had a blog post on there or something.
Yeah, they couldn't touch it.
Okay, super.
That's the crazy thing about these sites is there's so many different experiences of it, like as a student or as an instructor or as the site owner or as a logged out visitor, to really test it out, you just got to all right, now I'm going to go through my site as a student. Now I'm going to go through my site as an instructor. And then once you go through it all, then it finally clicks. But because when you're an admin, it's like, whoa, there's so much going on here, but it's not, there's all the different roles and stuff. Have you ever heard of the user switching plugin?
Yes, I love that one.
Yeah.
That's super popular in Lifter because
for
this exact reason. So you can go just quickly test other user experiences.
Okay.
Another thing is to have somebody else that you trust test it through for you, make sure everything makes sense, including the curriculum itself. Do you have a misstep or that there aren't any gaps in on what you're trying to teach, so that it steps through in the way that you would expect somebody to step through it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
But coming in from a different browser on the same system is handy too.
Yeah, that does help.
So does that mean it works on Internet Explorer? Just kidding.
I mean, it used to. I don't know.
That's just my little joke.
I got a quick one. Subdomains. I don't know if that was in the first part of the presentation. Can you assign a subdomain to your courses?
Through
Lifter?
It's I mean, Lifter exists on a WordPress install. People put it on the root, like on the main site. Some people put the academy on a subdomain, but each individual course doesn't really have its own subdomain.
No, I'm just looking at the school, if you will.
Oh, it's a matter of choice. Do you want it on the root or do you want it like kind of siloed off? Either way can work.
Is there a way to do that within Lifter is what I'm asking.
Well, like for us, let me show my screen. So for us here, lifterlms.com is the root. And this is a pretty complex like WooCommerce software sales site.
Mm-hmm.
So we put our academy on a subdomain right here. We're actually getting ready to move it to the root just to make it simpler, but both are possible. So yeah, it's just a matter of choice.
Okay, perfect.
So Chris, your pricing though is per site, right? So 1 active site, 5 active sites, unlimited. So does that include like multi-site or subdomains? The way we do it at Give is each installation of into a WordPress site is a separate license. Is that how it works for Lifter as well?
I'm going to piggyback onto that staging sites too.
We actually, I mean, this is we're hardcore WordPress people, so we're not going to penalize anybody for their staging sites.
Exactly.
We actually have all this code in there that automatically detects if you're on a staging site, even if you have like 5 staging sites, and it doesn't count against anything.
That's awesome.
So, and if you happen to find a way around it, which we haven't seen yet, but if you did, we would just hook you up or whatever. So. But if you're going to become like a serial entrepreneur and you're going to build 7 universities, you probably need to get the Infinity Bundle.
Makes sense. Yeah, I'm not there yet, but you never know.
Right.
So what's kind of the low end entry level for, a single entrepreneur?
Free. Just use the free plugin. And really the free core plugin plus 1 payment gate, if you're going to be selling the courses, the most common entry point is Lifter LMS free plus the Stripe add-on for the credit card payments. So that's $99 a year. With the Rochester only discount, that would be $74.
There you go.
That's pretty good. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. There any, it seems like there probably don't need to be any, but are there any benefits for not-for-profits, fire department, for instance?
We do have a nonprofit pricing thing. If you email us, there's a link at the bottom of the website of lifterlms.com. I'll show it to you here. So there's lots of reasons. That's not it. Nonprofit being one, where down here there's a scholarship, partial scholarship. Just click that link and fill out the form there, and that's where we do our nonprofit discount.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Since this is the 3rd time I've had you on something this year, including the podcast, I just signed up to be an affiliate. So, see if you can push that through. That'd be great.
We'll do that. We actually have a promo going. So we're doing Black Friday all November. If you create a unique piece of Lifter LMS content, we double your affiliate commission for the month of November.
Oh, nice.
So that's
no pressure, Michelle.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions? I love talking about this stuff. I mean, I have a podcast with 300 episodes. I could talk about courses forever. So don't be shy. Does anybody have any other questions or?
What's the most unique class or course that you've ever seen somebody put together that you can talk about in mixed company?
Oh, geez. Yeah, there's so many.
Strange, maybe.
I mean, see, the crazy thing is, the human animal is like a learning machine, right? So this is what we do. We learn at all ages, and there's a lot to learn out there in the world. So I've seen the wildest relationship courses you can imagine. I'll just leave it at that. I've seen just these niches you've never heard of, like grandfather clock repair. I mean, you can picture what that is, but how big is that niche? I don't know. I'm trying to think.
I mean, what kind of a price tag are people charging for these kind of, I mean, wood turners are cheap. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, is this sell a class for $25 or $100,
I actually get asked this question a lot. So I put together a pricing calculator. So let's go fill that out for you. So this is the know your value. Let's click to calculate. Would you be doing self-study with no support? Like, would it all be passive, or would it have like some group support or one-on-one access to you?
You're muted, Jim.
Yeah, I realize that. I could do it either way, actually.
Pick one.
Do self-study.
All right. And there's only 3 questions here, so don't worry. I'm not going to, this isn't super long. This is the most important one. Which best describes your target market's financial position as it relates to willingness to pay? My market has limited financial resources available to invest in training. My market has average financial resources to invest if the ROI of the training is clear. My market will not hesitate spending $1,000 or significantly more on effective training and high quality networking opportunities.
I'll say the first one.
And then how much do they value the result of your course? It's a nice optimization or improvement to their current state. It's major forward progress, but not revolutionary, or it's game changer and borderline priceless.
That one.
Okay. Priceless?
Yep.
Okay. $100.
Really?
So, but it varies, you know, like if you're doing private coaching in a high-end market, people charge a lot of money. Like I see memberships where people are doing $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 like in the business niche. But you know, like a hobby self-study course, like where you're at.
Yep.
Is like, you know, $100 to $1,000 depending upon what it is. And that's just passive. If you throw in like group coaching and stuff, you know, maybe they'll pay a little bit more.
So basically what I'm saying is I should stop working with nonprofit organizations. Don't tell Matt I said that.
You know, the biggest one is really the willingness to pay. Right. So like some people are really passionate about parenting. Young single parents do not have a lot of money to spend on like a child raising course or like something, but like a business executive who's trying to scale $1 million company might, you know, have different level of resources.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing, just the honesty of that. And also the fidelity of access to the instructor. So I can learn comedy from Steve Martin and it only costs $15 a month, but Steve is not going to reply to my emails. But I may find some other comedy coach guy that might help me become a stand-up comic, which is not what I'm planning to do, but who's actually going to work directly with me. I might pay $1,000 for that or something, you know?
Yeah, it's all value is always in the eye of the purchaser, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So in a craft space that my wife and I are both in, I mean, are you seeing people put up, you know, the quilting academy, the wood turning academy, the pottery academy, the, you know, knitting academy? How are people marketing these things?
You should jump in our Facebook group. I'll put a link to it in the chat. I mean, there's knitters and folks in there who are sharing this. I'll tell you, I mean, the marketing question is a great one. Do you already have a like any kind of contact list or anything or like a group of woodworkers?
I'm just starting to collect that, you know. That was my big mistake when I got into WordPress is I didn't start collecting that stuff 4 or 5 years ago. So I have a relatively small list, but you know, I am working on it.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, I actually am a really big fan of the free course to start.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually have a whole thing I teach. It's called the YouTube traffic system. It's about 3 videos to make that kind of guide people towards your LMS universe in your free course. So basically, just to give you the really short version, and then I'll share the link with you of where to watch that video. There's like in marketing, there's this whole like problem aware, solution aware, product aware stages that people go through. So without becoming a professional YouTuber, and in the hobbies, it's really people go to YouTube a lot to learn how to do things. So like a problem aware person is affordable. I would make 3 videos phrase this question. So like the problem aware question would be like, what are the easiest, most affordable ways to get into hobby woodworking? That might be a problem aware deal. A solution aware one, like let's say they've already discovered wood turning, might be, how do I make a simple cigar pen with my lathe from scratch for beginners? That would be video number 2. Video number 3 is something about, how to, never have to go Christmas shopping again and make these 3 gifts that people will like of all age and gender and all that stuff. And then that one, at the end of that one, you promote the free course on your website. And then there's the paid course where you have a course for every project or whatever. So that's how I would build. And then I would run, if you get more advanced, I would start running paid ads to those YouTube videos. And that would essentially build a funnel that does that. Although you don't even have to pay for it. As long as you have if you make really good YouTube videos that just really hit the market. The main thing is people go to YouTube like a search engine. So they're asking a question. So question and response videos are really powerful for building a flow of people. So, I mean, when I first did this, I started with some organic gardening courses. Some of my original YouTube videos have over 30,000 views now, and it kind of blows my mind. But I was just working that strategy that we're talking about here.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Let me get that link for you. I'm a little bit of a marketing nerd though. So, but the main thing though is just getting into the video creation is the super skill. So getting ready to film video while you're doing your hobby is like,
I've been streaming, live interactive remote demonstrations to wood turning clubs since January.
Oh, great.
I've got cameras and all that. We're just trying to, as an example, I've got one class that I've delivered several times. I've got articles written on and whatnot. It's called the Sensational Skew. And it's an hour and a half hands-on class on how to use the skew. I mean, it's perfect to try to break up into little chunks into a class like this, and that's what's kind of got my interest going here.
That's cool. Yeah, and also one more tool for you is, I see some people get hung up in trying to make this big giant course. Sometimes just little mini courses are way more easier and approachable. So if you find yourself ending up in like this massive course, you might be better off just taking smaller bites of the elephant and making the little mini courses.
I mean, are people charging like, $5 and $10 for a course type thing?
Or maybe think about a membership where you would do like, instead of selling these one-off courses, which you could do, like maybe they're like project courses or whatever, or tool courses, or you can just pay $20, $30 a month for hobby. I'm a big fan of the $30 a month for a hobby course price point, because that is like the $1 a day kind of mental calculation we all make.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are not worried about your ability to at least roll out, one new training a month, I would just go out the gate thinking in terms of having a membership with lots of stuff that over time the catalog just gets bigger and bigger and they can cancel at any time, kind of thing.
I'm taking notes.
Cool.
So you two are a Facebook link or something? What was the link you wanted to share?
I put them in the chat.
Oh, okay.
We have a Facebook group for course creators, and just that YouTube traffic system video I described.
And Jim, you can save the chat with the three dots at the bottom, so you can save it at the end.
Yeah, I know.
I also just invited it to you, I invited you to the group, Jim, so you'll get an invite to that.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Chris, I got a question for you. My wife's a high school teacher, and she uses a lot of automatic test generating tools.
Okay.
Do you have interaction with those? Do you have like a conduit that connects to those, or do you do all of the quizzes within your LMS environment?
It's a great question. We have our own quiz building tool.
Okay.
However, have you heard of H5P?
No, I haven't.
It's like an interactive quizzing thing that it's like open source. It's sort of like WordPress for quizzes. A lot of people use that inside WordPress sites for like content, but there's also a third-party add-on, I forget the name of it, that if you can get that quiz into a spreadsheet that you can upload it into Lifter.
Okay.
But most people who use Lifter for the quizzes are using our native system. But it's not, you can also embed stuff. So the trade-off is around the reporting. Like our reporting works with the Lifter quiz and assignments. So if you bring in an outside content type, it's not necessarily integrated in out of the box in the LMS reporting. So that's the trade-off. But if it's more just like there to reinforce the learning, or that quizzing tool has its own reporting system, which is fine, then you could do it. But yeah, I don't know there's not that many like direct integrations that I know of.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Chris, you've given us quite a bit of your evening. I was talking to a friend offline about while you were talking, and I was like, ask him about his office, because I didn't want to be the one to make you tell about your office again. But before
I can do it.
Tell us about your office, because your office is so super cool in what you've done. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I have a little shack in my backyard. So this is
it's not a shack. It is a nice building that you created.
If you know the tiny house movement or whatever, so it's like a tiny house style office that I have two little girls at home, and we live on a little farm, and there's lots of noise and stuff. So I just built my office to be my my workplace. So I have a video on YouTube with a tour of it, but I just designed, especially I forget who was asking around like creating all this content and everything. It's hard enough. So I just walk in here, like I got all this stuff all ready to go, and I can just, like, I was eating dinner like 5 more minutes before I jumped on here with you, Michelle, and I just walk into my office, and it's like it's my little creativity place. Mm-hmm. So it's I built it all myself with a friend, and when I go to WordPress events, more people ask me about my office than the software.
I remember you saying that.
It became part of the brand. I don't know. That's just how it works. Some things you try to do and some things happen. Because I would often share as I was building it on Twitter and stuff like that. So.
But I mean, you call it a shack, but you have windows. You have it's heated in the winter time. I mean,
I have a little fire burning right there and a little wood stove. Yeah, I have a hammock in here. Like I take naps in here, and so. It's like my man cave office thing, you know. and it's like my startup headquarters. So.
But your kids have helped out with it too a little bit.
Yeah.
So look for that video if you want to get a tour.
Okay, I'll find that real quick.
I've got whiteboards and everything else, so everything you could need. It looks like you're at a standing desk right now too.
Yeah, I started standing about 8 years ago, and I just it just ended up working for me. So I'm like at a permanent standing desk. I still have like a futon couch in here, so I can I sit down and have the laptop in my lap sometimes or whatever. But yeah, that's the deal.
Very cool.
All right, let me find it. Here it is. I will share this. Chris's office.
It's very cool.
I wish I had I planned to do it. There's just too much going on. I wanted to really record the process of building it and turn it into a course.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just I didn't slow down enough to like do that. Because a lot of people, like want to learn how to build this type of thing, especially now with more and more people working from home and kids around and stuff.
Yep.
So
a little oasis.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for giving us such a big part of your evening, especially with the family and everything at home. We do appreciate that so much. And thank you for sharing the discount that you did, and definitely for dropping all the knowledge that you shared with us today. I always say, like, when I've got some of my friends coming on here, it's like a master class that we just all got for free because you were so willing to give up your time. And I just want to thank you so much. Appreciate that very, very much.
Well, thanks for having me, Michelle. And you all have been great. It's been awesome to hang out with you. And if I can help in any way, just track me down. I'm easy to find on the internet.
Fantastic. Can't find them.
This is great.
All right.
Thank you.
My first